Okay, so in this section, we will be covering these sections in your book. And so this whole section here is going to be dealing with a lot of percentages and interests and several formulas that we need to know for our exam. All right, so the first question here says a car dealership decreased the price of a certain car by 3%. The original price was $41,200. Um, Fill in the blank to write the new price in terms of original price and use your answer in part A to determine the new price. Okay, so um, there's a lot of ways to solve these types of problems, and I'm going to show you a way that's going to help us because it will be dealing with a lot of the interest formulas as I'm mentioning. So again, you don't have to do it this way, but it is one good way to learn and understand how to work these problems. Okay, so I mentioned this before about the percent rules. Okay, so all right. So when something um when it's talking about an increase, okay, you want to add to the 100%, okay? And when it's talking about something decreasing, okay, then you want to subtract from the 100%, okay? So again, a lot of these problems I like to use proportion. All right, so remember proportion just means two fractions that are equal to each other, right? So um so on the right column here, there's always dealing with the percent. And then the bottom is always 100. All right, and I just kind of fill in my chart here. Okay. So in this case, it's talking about a decrease, right? A car dealership decrease, right, by 3%. So that means then if it's talking about a decrease, then I would use this one here. I have to subtract from the 100%. So in this case, it would be 100 minus 3, which gives me 97. Okay. So I put 97 here. Okay. Now the tricky part is trying to figure out, okay, what does this correspond with? What does this number correlate with? Okay. So if we go back to the problem, it says a car dealership decreased the price of a certain car by 3%. So it's telling me I don't know what it decreased to. Okay. So that will be my X. All right. That's the missing part. Because again, these two numbers on the top need to talk about each other. They correspond or correlate with each other. Okay. But I do know the original price was 41,200. So a lot of times the original price will go on the bottom. And I just put that there. Okay. All right. Then we just cross multiply and divide. And then we will get $39,964. Right? So remember, we just do the butterfly move here, right? So we multiply these guys together and then multiply these guys together, right? So that would be 100x equals 97 times 41,200, then divide both sides by 100, okay? And then x would be here, right? Since last year, Charmaine opened an investment account with $7,200. At the end of the year, the amount of the in the account had decreased by 6.5%. How much is this decrease in dollars? How much money was in her account at the end of last year? So again, I'm going to use proportion to solve this. All right. So So I have two fractions that are equal to each other. Anything with the percent, I put on the right side. I put 100 on the bottom right. All right, so it tells me the amount in the account had decreased by 6.5%. So that means I'm going to subtract that from 100, so 6.5. So that's going to give us 93.5. Okay. And so I put 93.5 here. All right. And then now I just need to figure out, okay, what is this 93.5 or the 6.5% decrease relating with? Okay. It says the amount in the account had decreased, right? So we don't know what that amount is. So that's going to be our X again. Okay. And then it was originally with $7,200. So we are going to put 7,200 in the denominator. Okay. All right. So we just cross multiply and divide, right? So we will get X is equal to $6,732. All right. So again, we multiply these guys together, multiply these guys together. So that gives us 100X equals 93.5 times 7,200, then divide by 100. Okay. All right. And then what did it decrease in amount? So we just take the $7,200 and subtract 67.32, and that would be $468. Okay. And of course, this is our year and end amount. Okay, here it says the table is on sale for 32% off. The sale price is $323. What is the regular price? So again, I'm going to set up a proportion here. So we have the percentage on the right side, the bottom is 100, okay? So it tells us that the it's on sale for 32% off. So we're going to subtract from the 3,200, and that's going to give us 68. So we put 68 there, right? And then this number is going to correspond to what? The sale price, right? So the sale price is $323, so we're going to put $323 here. And we were trying to find the original or the regular price, so we don't know what that is, so that's going to be X in the denominator. All right, so again, we're going to cross multiply and divide, and we get X is equal to $475. All right, so again, we just multiply these guys, so that'll be 68X. And then we have 100 times by 323, then divide both sides by 68. Okay, so X gives us, again, $475. All right, so this one says the population of the city has increased by 33% since it was last measured. If the current population is 26,600, what was the previous population? So again, I'm going to set up my proportion here, okay, to solve this. All right, so again, I have two fractions that are equal to each other. Again, anything with the percent, I'm going to put on the right side here, and this is going to be 100%. Okay, so in this case, it's talking about that it increased by 33%. So that means I'm going to do 100 plus 33. All right, so that gives me 133. So that's what I'm going to put right here. Okay, 133. All right. Now, this is the part that's tricky, okay? It says if the current population is 26,600, what was the previous population? So what was the population before? So again, so this means then the 26,600, right, is the increased. right? Increased by 30%, so it became 26,600. So what we're trying to figure out is what was the population before that. So in this case, then, if I do my proportion here, 26,600 is going to be on the top. And then the X is going to be on the bottom because I don't know what it was previously. Okay. So we cross multiply and divide here. So, so multiply these guys, multiply these guys. So we get 133x equals 100 times 26,600 and divide by 133. Okay. So x gives us 20,000. Now, if you want to use a different way, again, I recommend doing it, this way in the proportion, because again, a lot of problems are going to be talking about increasing, decreasing, just manipulate this number here. But if you want to look at a different way, you can set up this way where X can be the previous population. I don't know what that is, but we know that it increased by 33%. So it's going to be 0.33x. Okay. And the result we want is 26,600. So this is going to be 1 plus 0.33. So that's 1.33x equals 26,600. Then divide by 1.33. Okay. And we get the same thing. All right, so it says here the price of a technology stock has risen to $9.71 today. Yesterday's price was $9.60. We want to find the percentage increase. Oh, goodness gracious. Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a percent. Okay, so again, I want to set up our proportion here. Okay. All right, so 100 goes in the bottom right. Okay, so this problem is a little bit different because now we need to find the percentage. What was the percentage increase? So in this case, that's normally we would put something in here, right? Normally we put something in here, but now that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the percent. Okay, so we'll put X there. All right, so then we need to read this carefully, what we put in these sections here. So it says the price of technology stock has risen to $9.71. Okay. So if you think about it, that's going to be because yesterday's price was $9.60. So the $9.71, that's going to correspond with the percent increase, right? The $9.71 is going to correspond with that percent increase. So that means then the $9.71 has to go on top. Okay, because again, these are talking about each other. These guys here are talking about each other, right? It's risen, it risen this amount, but again, we just want to find out what that percent is. So the yesterday's price has to go in the bottom. That's the original price. Okay. So again, we just cross multiply and divide here. Right? So multiply these two and then multiply these two. So we have $9.60 X equals 100 times $9.71. Divide both sides by 960. Okay. And we get X is equal to 101.1%. Okay. So this is a two-step. So it had risen to this amount. Okay, the percentage. So that means we have to take 101.1 minus by 100. So that would be a 1.1% increase. Okay. Okay, it says an item costs $440 before tax and the sales tax is $35.20. Find the sales tax rate. Write your answer as a percentage. Okay. There we go. Okay, so again, we have our proportion, percent out of 100. All right, so again, in this case, we need to find our percent, right? We don't know what that is, so this is going to be X. Okay, and so now we need to find out what we put on top and what we put on the bottom. Okay, so it says here an item costs $440 before tax, and the sales tax is $35.20. Okay, so again, we're trying to find the tax, right? What was the percent? So, so in this case, then we need to put 3520 on the top. All right, because again, these two items are talking about each other. These guys here are talking about each other. Okay, so we put that on the top, and then we put 440 on the bottom. Okay, then we just cross multiply. So we have 440x. Again, multiply these guys here, multiply these guys here. 440x equals 100 times 3520 divide by 440. Okay, so x gives us 8%. All right, it says here a book sold 42,300 copies in the first month of release. Suppose this represents 6.1% of the number of copies sold to date. How many copies have been sold to date? Round your answer to the nearest whole number. All right, here says Aldo has two coupons for a printer. Coupon A is $14 rebate on a $65 printer. or 25% off of a $65 printer. Choose a coupon that gives the lower price, coupon A or coupon B. Okay, so we need to figure out which of these coupons is going to give us a better deal, right? So $14 rebate. I'm not a big fan of rebates. Um, just give me the they give me the discount. I don't want to mail in anything to get the rebate back. And a lot of times the rebate is going towards back to store. Okay. So anyway, so this one is going to be a $14 rebate. So we just take $65 minus $14, and that gives us $51. Okay. The second one, coupon B, is 25% of $65. So again, there's a couple ways of doing this. Most likely students would do 0.25 multiplied by 65, which gives us $16.25. Then subtract that from 65, all right, which gives us $48.75. You can perfectly do that, it's fine. I know most people think that way, that's fine. What I like to do is it says 25% off. So instead of going through all this, I just do the opposite. I just do 75%. So I just take 0.75 and multiply that by 65. All right. And it gives me the same answer and it gets me to the point. So I always do the opposite. If they say, oh, this is 30% off, okay, I just multiply the price by 70%. If this is 40% off, all right, then I just multiply the price by 60%, and that tells me exactly how much it costs. Okay, so it says here, Amanda is looking for the best deal on a king size mattress that has a wholesale price of $499. Help her compare the price of the mattress in different situations by completing the following. A, Amanda can go to a specialty store that she knows has the mattress. The specialty store gets it from a distributor who marks up the wholesale price 20%. Then the specialty store marks it up by an additional 30%. Ignoring tax, how much would Amanda pay for the mattress at the specialty store? B, Amanda can also buy the mattress from a distributor that does direct to customer sales. When selling it directly to the individual customers, the distributor marks up the wholesale price 50%. Ignoring tax, how much would Amanda pay for the mattress if she gets it from the distributor? Okay, so remember in the previous problems we talked about an increase or decrease, right? So if it had been if had increased, we would add to the percent here. Let me pause. Okay, so again, if I had if I had 100% increase by 30%, then I would add 30% to that, which gives me 130, and then I can convert that to a decimal, 1.30. All right. So I'm going to do exactly that method, okay, when solving these types of problems. Um, so we start out with 499, okay, and it tells that they get it from the distributor who marks up the wholesale price 20%. So that's going to be 100 plus 20, which is 120%, which is 1.20. So we're going to multiply this by 1.20. All right, when we do that, we get $598.80. Okay. And then the specialty store marks it up by an additional 30%. Okay. So again, we have 100 plus additional 30, so that's 130, which we can convert to 1.3. So we're going to multiply this now by 1.3 or 1.30, and that gives us $778 and 44 cents. Okay, so this is how much the specialty store is going to charge. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Right. And I think this is how I like to shop at Kohl's a lot. And I think that's what Kohl's does, right? I mean, it's amazing that they give so many discounts, but I'm thinking this is what's happening. They mark it up so much that you think you're getting a discount, okay? But they got it for dirt cheap and they're selling it to you, okay? But again, that's my theory. So, because I mean, if they're not doing that, then they are losing money. So, lots of money. All right, so the next one here is again $4.99, and this one is we're going straight to the distributor. Okay, all right, and um, the distributor marks up the wholesale price by 50%. So we multiply this by 1.50 because it's 100 plus 50%. So we're going to multiply this by 1.5. Okay, and that gives us $748 and 50 cents. Okay. All right. And so the last part here says select the true statement. Amanda would pay more for the mattress if she gets a specialty store. That's true. Amanda would pay more for the mattress if she gets it directly from the distributor. No, because this is less. Amanda would pay the same amount. Nope. So the answer has to be the first one here. Okay. She would pay more at the specialty store.